Oh, this is funny. Research shows that chemicals in foods are making young men gay in the U.S. I believe it. Okay, this might be some Alex Jones level shit, but I believe it. Aim was right about the fucking gay shrimp, by the way. And the shrimp's committing suicide and shit. Insofar as the chemicals in the water, making them more prone to be homosexual. But anyway, okay. It is no news that there's a growing number of homosexuals in our society today. Yeah, but I'm not so sure whether or not that's because of chemicals or just because it's more fashionable. It's being pushed on people more at younger ages, and thereby they're becoming programmed in a way to be that way. It could be that there's the same number of gay people, but in the past they kept it on the down low and even got married and had kids, so you didn't know the actual number. It's kind of like autism, how people are talking about, oh, autism has exploded, it must be vaccines. Nah, it's because we've gotten better at detecting it, right? Or it's because most of it's bullshit. It's faux, it's made up, and, you know, kind of like ADHD, right? And they're just calling anything autism. Oh, he doesn't make eye contact, autism. He likes to finger paint, autism. I mean, but anyway. So it could be posited that we've just gotten better at detecting it, not that there's actually more autists. And it could just be that because it's more socially acceptable, which it shouldn't be, by the way, you know, it's an alternative lifestyle. It should stay that way because, you know, if too many people go gay, guess what happens? Humanity dies. There's a reason why it's stigmatized and should be. You know, we're supposed to make kids, all right? These people can't make kids. But anyway. That's why they've always been such a small percentage of the population, less than 1%. So it could just be that because it's more socially acceptable, more people are not hiding it, so it looks like there's more, but there's really not. But anyway, so it is given an unprecedented amount of airtime on TV and movies. Yes, children are now being taught in schools that it's absolutely natural to be homosexual. By the way, I should add that this article is full of grammatical errors and spelling errors. It's horrible. But besides the pressure on the average black boy and girl to embrace homosexuality, I guess the people that wrote this took Ebonics in a California school. We have also learned that there might be other causes for such change in hormones and sexual preferences amongst our young people of today. Researchers have pointed to the presence of chemicals in food, shampoos, and toothpaste, and fruits and other produce that are consumed by people. It says consumed by people. There should be a D there for past tense. Consumed by people. Recent research by the University of California, Berkeley. Oh boy, Berkeley, hive of leftist hippie scum, has revealed that many conventional shampoos, soaps, and toothpaste products are loaded with endocrine disrupting chemicals, or EDCs, that damage hormones in developing children. Huh. It's interesting. The study found that young girls are reaching puberty much earlier. Now, I thought that was attributed to better diets and nutrition, but I guess there could be a chemical aspect too, as a result of exposure to these EDCs. And the research discovered that boys are similarly experiencing reductions in testosterone levels from simple use of contaminated products. Well, I know that bisphenol A has a lot to do with this. Bisphenol A, it mimics estrogen, destroys testosterone. It's in everything from paper to receipts when you buy something that get on your fingers and gets absorbed by your skin, to all plastic products under the pretext of it being a hardening agent for plastic, even though it wasn't existent before World War II and such, like the 1950s. Plastic seemed to work fine back then. Tupperware and all that, no problem. It's bullshit that it's a hardener. It's there to essentially feminize boys. But anyway, back to the story. Now, testosterone is the hormone that makes men be men. Yeah? A reduction of a man's testosterone will only lead to more female hormones. Progesterone, okay. And once he has too many female hormones, he then begins to act and react to things like a woman. Okay, so far, this is believable. So far, this mirrors what I see in society. The feminization of men, the men who act like women, i.e. beta males. So I might talk about this in my next show, the difference between a beta male and an alpha male. But yeah, you know, beta male being somebody that acts more like a woman than a man, and we see an awful lot more of them than we used to. The assessment of mother and children from Salina followed 338 children from pre-birth into adolescent, and it was done to assess the impact of various environmental exposures. And after 20 years, they determined that children were reaching puberty faster and that their hormones were reducing or altered. Ugh, it's not good. And the major culprit in this was personal care products that contain chemicals that are known to interfere with the normal hormone expression. Toothpaste, for example? Huh. Now, if you're wondering how this other stuff got into your skin, many of these estrogen-mimicking progesterone products, they are absorbed through the skin. BPA as well. Wow. This is very interesting. Kim Harley, the study's lead author and an associate adjunct professor in Berkeley School of Public Health, said that while some research is needed, people should be aware that there are chemicals in personal care products that may be disrupting the hormones in our bodies. And by the way, do you think this is coincidence? Do you think there is not some rhyme or reason or method behind this, some kind of will that determined that these specific chemicals could do this and then introduce them on purpose? Do you think this is just happenstance? No. I think this is 100% on purpose for a specific agenda. And that is demasculinize the men. Look, there's a reason that the left isn't trying to pump up all of the West's enemies to attack Western countries. They'd lose. Let's pump up the Middle East to attack Europe. Yeah, they'll lose. They'll lose. They got AK-47s and some shoulder-mounted hand grenade launchers, right? What looks like a rocket launcher is just a fucking a glorified hand grenade, right? With a rocket. All right? That's all they got. What do we got? We got bombers. We got fucking a stealth aircraft. We'll annihilate them. We got fucking drones with no pilots. We'll kill masses of them on the fucking battlefield. Here come 1 million Muslims charging across Europe. Yeah, wipe them out. Just wipe them out with a few drones. Come on. No, that's not the way you conquer nations these days. The way you conquer nations these days is from within. Ideologically, right? Introduce the poison of Marxism, cultural Marxism, feminism, which is cultural Marxism, leftism into that culture, and then watch it destroy itself. You don't need to fire a shot. And they pay for it. That's the great thing. Yeah, infest their universities with these people, and then their own tax dollars pay for their destruction. It's pretty cost effective, and it works. And this is another method of doing that. Weaken the males. Reduce their ability to think logically, critically, reasonably, thereby taking away their ability to reason out the threats in the world. And then, of course, you're introducing this whole relativistic, solipsistic, idealistic philosophy that the leftists follow, postmodernism, that really doesn't recognize objective truth. It's all about subjective truth, so nobody can recognize actual truth when they see it. The truth being that you're being invaded, you're being attacked, you're being destroyed from within. Ha! Can't see that? I'm a relativist. I'm an idealist. I don't recognize objective reality. Well, okay. Objective reality is going to fucking kill you one day. But, so, the fact that you don't recognize it, it doesn't in any way, shape, or form detract from that fact, but you can't see that fact. You can't recognize truth for truth. All right, so, yeah, another chemical which points to chemicals in foods that might be changing the hormones of young men is atrazine. An extensive study done by Tyrone Hayes and other scientists has shown that exposing frogs to okay, so this is the thing with Alex Jones that he was talking about. But it was actually true. Just the way he presents it is kind of kooky and nutty, and people think of him as a conspiracy theorist, which he is to some extent, and a performance artist. But also, a lot of the stuff he says is true. You should really do your research before you discount the things Alex Jones says. I'm not saying he's not a bit of a nut, okay? But a lot of what he says is true. Some of it's false, but some of it's true as well. You should do your research before you come to any conclusions. But anyway, that exposing frogs to as little as 0.1 parts per billion, okay, can cause serious health issues, including a kind of chemical castration. The exposure of fishes and frogs to contaminated surface water is also known to compromise their growth, behavior, immune function, and gonadal development. They're gonads. Yeah. Hayes found in his research that 10% of male frogs living in atrazine-laced water turned completely into females. Strikingly, the level of atrazine used in the study 2.5 parts per billion is less than the EPA limit for drinking water contamination. Remember how Kramer would just, if you hit him with a fact he didn't know that was shocking to him, he'd be like, that's the way I'm feeling right now. Jesus Christ. In the U.S., atrazine is the most common water contaminant. You don't say. A feminizing agent that is many, many times more prevalent than is required to turn somebody gay or feminine is in the water. I'm shocked. Yeah, geez, it explains a lot. And it was initially approved for use in 1958. Why? Why was it approved for use? It seems like all this is happening in the 50s. BPA, atrazine. It has been banned in Europe since 2005, and groundwater contamination was in fact one of the determining factors behind the ban. It is said that an estimated 70 million pounds of atrazine are applied to agricultural fields in the United States each year. So they couldn't have found something else that hasn't been scientifically proven to castrate men. Anybody concerned by this? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm fucking talking about. Well, you're worried about fucking Colin Kaepernick kneeling or not kneeling for the national fucking anthem. Jesus Christ, they're doing this kind of shit. You're not even awake and aware of it. Oh my God. Studies looking at human cells and tissues suggest the chemical likely poses similar threats to human health. For example, one study linked atrazine exposure in utero to impaired sexual development in young boys. You see, men are the ones that man the fucking gates. They're the ones up on the fucking wall with a gun. And don't give me this shit about women being able to compete with men on an even playing field in regards to shooting sports, okay? Men have better hand-eye coordination. Give me a fucking break. They're the ones up on that wall, man in that wall, 98% plus of fucking war fatalities are still men. Don't tell me that women are going to be able to defend us. Fuck off. Unless there's some big brutish fucking Amazons out there I don't know about, we're fucked. If we've got these soy boy weakling wimps manning the fucking wall. And that's the whole point. Weaken the men to the point where they're ineffectual defenders, where they're unable or even unwilling to defend their country. And, of course, treat them like crap, too, so that they don't want to. I mean, society in the West hates men, especially white men, so much. It's like, why would I defend this country? If they don't like me, I don't like them. Wow. Wow. For example, one study linked atrazine exposure in utero impaired sexual development in boys, causing genital deformation, including microphallus, small penis. Interesting. The constant exposure of food and fruits that are grown in the U.S. to the chemical atrazine has also been fingered as one of the major contributors to the changing hormones of the young male population. More boys now see themselves as girls, transgender, than they did 10 to 20 years ago. Useful idiots. Useful fucking idiots. Create more useful idiots by taking away their ability to make testosterone, making them more female. Hence, they are more likely to be influenced by their emotions than facts, logic, reason. Then create actual real benefits, greater benefits in regards to being a woman, to being a man, while at the same time feminizing the young boys. So it's much easier for them to sort of kind of go down that trans route. Although it's safe to say a lot of other factors contribute to the altering of hormones. There have been many arguments about this among researchers. Many have questioned them basically on the grounds that they raise questions of professionalism on the authorities in charge of the health of citizens. Others, too, have refused the reports because they suggest a plot to increase homosexuality in young men. No shit. No shit! But what we have chosen to do here is, right, anybody with a brain knows that the global elites want to depopulate the planet. Too many people. But first, to gain that kind of power and control, you need to get rid of Whitey. But what we have chosen to do here is to bring this knowledge to the fore as we try to combat the increasing emasculation and feminization of our young men. We deserve to give these reports a thought and also find out if they are true, and in that way protect our young and old people. We live in a world where the health of millions rely on the research and results of a few scientists and doctors. And sometimes when these results raise a red flag, big companies and governments who make money from such chemicals and products, will sit on the reports. Could be that they're the ones pushing the use of these products or creating policy that makes sure these products are used in the first place. The world consumes such products, and after a few decades, the results have begun to show. But even at that, the world is left in the dark to chase shadows. If Europe banned atrazine from being used in their farms and water treatment, then of course there is something wrong with the chemical. Yeah, or maybe they saw the future and decided to save themselves from a male hormone depressant, like BPA. If atrazine, and by the way, anybody out there who thinks this is just happenstance or it's just random chance, you're an idiot. Too many of these chemicals exist in food, in the products we use every day that cumulatively suppress and destroy our ability to create testosterone and even affect the way we develop biologically. As men, meanwhile, there's no such chemicals for feminine traits. Are you seeing any chemicals out there that suppress estrogen and make women more manly? Make them more logical, reasonable, and able to think critically? You know, which is what will happen if you increase testosterone in women. No, you see nothing like that. It's all completely on one side to make men more emotional, less rational, and to make women more emotional and less rational. Because if you think these things are contributing to men becoming less rational, less reasonable, and more emotional, what do you think it's doing to women who are already from the start less rational, less reasonable, and more emotional? Yeah! The rise of the feminazi social justice warrior, wacko, rabid, man-hating feminist is a perfect example of what happens when you introduce these kind of chemicals into society. If atrazine and other chemicals can change the hormones of male frogs into female frogs, then scientists should really take time to study its effects in humans. Considering the number of decades the population has been ingesting these chemicals through food, fruits, and water. Yeah. Yeah. Part of the whole global homo agenda, which is just part of their depopulation as well as their agenda, as well as their want, their need to take power, which they do through their useful, idiot, so-called marginalized minority oppressed groups, which are anything but. All right, I think that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments section of this video, and please like and subscribe to my channel. And again, if you feel so inclined, please consider donating. I really could use your help, guys. I don't get any monetization from YouTube whatsoever. So if you could bring yourself to donate something, just $1 a month. $1 a month would go a long freaking way. Do you smoke? What, 2 cigarettes are $1? You're giving up 2 cigarettes for a month? Come on. Pack of gum. Candy bar. The candy bars cost $1. They cost more? I don't know. But let's say a candy bar. Which you shouldn't be eating, by the way. You know, so it's the candy bar that's bad for you. Donate to my show, which is good for you. It red pills you. It's educational. It's informative. And it's fucking funny. It's funny, bitches. If you haven't figured that out yet. So please consider donating by going to therealistphilosopher.com/donate. That is therealistphilosopher.com/donate. And again, if you'd like to be on the show, please call in. For the 30-minute period after the show that I will open up the phone lines again, and I will add you to my contacts, or send me a Skype to The Realist Philosopher, and I'll also add you to my contacts. And that's it. I am The Realist Philosopher, and hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Have a good day, and take care.